crave a deeper form of rebellion, like a hermit seeking a cave of longings beyond the yellow sway of industry. Why is the rebel never a mum? Why must he be a destructive son, following like Pan's shadow the child's caprice? Do what you want, take all the drugs, eat all the sweets. I'd like to celebrate a rebel crone who revels in nonsense, grows her own weed, who preaches about porn-free love and masturbates in the face of the patriarchy, who fosters alternative modes of mothering and uses her wit to skewer oppressive regimes, who lives on the jagged edge of her truth and resists the soft fall into ready categories. Like a baby with the face of a crone. I will lie down in the garden shed and let the ivy take me. I will crumble into the sweet man scent of coal dust, petrol and rusted tools. I will ask geraniums to bloom from my rib cage and the chainsaw to become my phantom penis. I will cherish the dark, I will never mow the grass, I will dissolve into the hereafter through the floor of my unrealized machismo.
You would have liked its indecisive street lanterns at dusk, roots resisting soul's love. Watch your step, Bougainvillea spinning on the street, or the garden walls, the immaculate, loose electric cable inconvenient.
At each juncture, at evening mass, I've been before and I'll go again, leaving a crumb of my flesh each time for the bird cats to pick. This is the calendar, and now I am being told truth by blue light. Aztec pyramids here and temples there, wormholes to another tear, points about which our realities revolve. I cannot say exactly what this is, the wisdom of another epoch where our baby might have stayed, hypnotized by space-time. I would have worn skulls around my head, protection to ward off bleeding to death as I birthed him. Provided he fell on me for long enough, he would have grown to wear skulls of birds in protection against flint arrows or flying rocks. So we stop and part again in vain, fly off in separate winds. Then I choke on visions of you, and the cycle that begins. In my abdomen, the memory of our mutual mistake, a cut which only deepens every time I sleep away.
Come forth, the female prophets, maker, muse, maverick. There is no time for niceties. To wake the world through my words and my art. That is what I want my legacy to be. Silence is death, life, the great beyond, but it is something all the same. I have starved my body, fed my soul, starved my soul and fed my body, waiting for the tangible. Look, I need the wind to brush off the cobwebs, as my auntie once said, and my grandmother before her. Stagnancy, sterility, stalemate, these alone are my enemies. Already I have completed so many cycles. My heart is bigger than the earth. Pray for change to heal the heart. Pray for rain to cleanse the soul. Salt your wounds from the inside. Tear away. Return, return. With empty arms, bring all you'll need. Do not move an inch. Cover yourself until the dirt dries, curdled, cracked, smiling. The one who is abundant cannot lose through giving. Tortured child, rest easy, return.
There's a very famous line that I often quote from Gloria Steinem, which is, I lived my mother's unlived life. So I was not good material, but my God, she forced and pushed and kicked me not to be anything, not to be in a band or anything, but fucking stand up for yourself and don't let this get you down. And so she didn't have enough in her to say, aim for this or aim for that, but it was just trying to build some moral fibre, really. But she just made me a bit of a brute, really, which was very unusual in those days. Being born in 1954, girls weren't brutes. They wore pastels and they said yes, and, they were acquiescent. And I was a very odd fish. My mother didn't defer, and she taught me not to defer. So that made me the person that when the time came, when the crack opened, and there was just that moment where if you were an uneducated, untalented, working class, poor, bolshy girl, hey, there's something you can do. You can be a punk. You often hear if you can't see it, you can't be it. And I couldn't see it. So there are times when you can't see it and you actually have to pluck it out of nowhere to be something that suits you.
It's almost like you were using the band, using performance, using music as like a place to research human nature and what it is to be a woman in society, but as a human form, rather than trying to be very going back into this kind of music tech, what do you call it? Technique.
Technique.
That one.
Technique is the big thing that I've sort of has almost crushed me my whole life. I've got no technique. I can't draw with technique. I can't sing or play with technique. And the absolute relief when I met Vivienne Westwood, and I saw how she, right at the beginning, because I knew the person who worked in the back of the shop, and he'd tell me and bring me stuff, that she would, take a T-shirt and just cut the sleeves off and cut the bottom off. Couldn't be bothered to do more than that. Put something really shocking on the front that'll distract from all the rough seams. Turn it inside out, And so I met her before I was trying to write songs, and it gave me the freedom to think, well, if you can make clothes like that, because I respected her very much. I can make songs like that. It doesn't matter if the seams show. It doesn't matter if it's a bit out of tune. It doesn't matter if you can see how it's been cobbled together. It doesn't matter if it breaks down halfway through a live gig. She was the first person that sort of gave me permission in my head to celebrate lack of technique. But of course, all the music press was all mostly written by guys, and all the A&R men were men, and they didn't think that. And they didn't wear those T-shirts. So it's not something that was immediately, it took a while for people to go to a punk gig and think, hey, it's great that it's all broken down, it's all collapsed, they've stopped the song and started again. Because that's what live is, and that's what real people and real life is. Yeah, it just gives you permission in life to not crumble when you fail. I've never seen that before. It wasn't just about being in a band. It was almost nothing to do with being a band. It was to explore female tropes, female oppression in our looks, in what's gone inside our head, how we carry ourselves, what's expected of us, and also what's expected of female work, in a way. Because it's actually become my favourite subject is failure. My favourite, it's absolutely infinite failure. It never runs out. You can always do it. But every failure has informed the next step, or I know we hear much more about it now, but I can't, I just can't get enough of it. I just think, the failure, the song breaking down, going out of tune. I want to feel part of it. I want to hear the humans behind it. The audiences used to just stare at us open-mouthed because they'd never seen girls play drums or play bass on stage ever. And I went to loads of gigs from the age of 13 and I'd never seen it. Then it went on to rhythms. Do we want to play 4/4 rhythms like, the rock bands from America and the rock bands here based on the blues, or do we even want to change our rhythm, make our rhythms, listen to our bodies and think, actually, my body doesn't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Women's bodies don't do that. I don't know if men's do, but... and then you know, that he used to take the piss out of us in the music press because we didn't keep time, you know, so it wouldn't be like a metronome from beginning to end of a 3-minute song. It would speed up and slow down. Well, that made sense to us as well. You know, your speech speeds up and slows down. You know, sex speeds up and slows down. Why have we all got to be like these robots? But that was considered like the holy grail in music and in the music press. They didn't know whether to fuck us or whether we should be killed off the planet, because it was so peculiar how we looked at the time for women. It was easier when there was the 4 of us, because we were 4 strong women, physically strong, and foolishly brave. So I never felt scared when I was with the Slits. We were a tough foursome. We were a tough little gang. But on your own, it was scary, and we didn't do the thing where you take your clothes in a plastic bag and change in the loo when you get there. We confronted the streets. It was part of the process. But that was the difference between acting like a rebel and living a rebellious life, you know. And it was tough. It was violent. I mean, I remember one day walking down Islington High Street with Ari, our singer, our young singer, and she was stabbed in the arse because of how we looked. You know, he just randomly ran up to us and she got it. That happened twice, actually, the stabbings. You chased everything all the time. Got away with it by the skin of our teeth most of the time. But it has made me hyper-vigilant. It was beginning to be a bit of a new thing when I was starting to write the second book, about how we inherit trauma unknowingly from our ancestors. And it goes into the body and into the blood and into the bones. It's absolutely mind-blowing, really. But the book, the premise of the book when I started was, how was I that person who picked up the guitar when I had so little going for me, except for this stroppiness? It was like a detective story, and I was sort of pushing about bits of dirt aside and having a look at the clues, and it was like, yeah, it goes way back. It goes back to before the Second World War. It goes back to my grandmother in Switzerland. It goes back to what she did at 16 and 17, and what maybe her mother was, you know, and my mother being stifled, and her mother, you know, it went back and back and back. And it was, you know, I realised, oh, my anger comes from there. Oh, my strength comes from there. It wasn't just trauma. But yeah, collectives, I think what you've done today is absolutely the way to go. And also people who don't do anything but just live nice, mindful lives. They're adding to good stuff. But it's not capitalism, is it?
People are important. Thank you. Thank you so much. Viv Albertine, everyone! Thank you!
the sky. I know that lovingly you said to me, we'll see as far as we can see, beyond the clouds and out of space, where it began our truest place. So
always telling me to run and don't turn back. Sister, is he true or is he false? Is he right or is he God? I saw God in this man. I saw life. I saw flesh on his bones. I can't take it. Just run and don't turn. He's no God of mine, he's no God. 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 Reach for him, he disappears, left whipping up all of these godly tears. Hands around my throat, I know you like that. Hands around my throat, I know you like that, honey. Mother's always talking, she's talking back. Mother's always telling me to run and don't turn back. Sister, is he true or is he false? Is he right or is he false? I saw God in this man, I saw life, I saw flesh on his bones. Just run and don't turn.
These really were the women who couldn't speak. So her mother, my mother, they had recklessness and fire, but they also wanted to be normal, and they weren't given this space. They're amazing women. So your grandmothers, amazing women, but we are, I think, was it Carys said about passing the baton on? It feels now that we're all talking about all these issues, they've been there forever, but dealing with them honestly, and talking about, as Viv said, when things aren't perfect. This poem is for Scarlett, and it's called Songline. This is our secret, pass it on. You may feel weak, but God, you are strong. You may think you are lost, but all will be won. Though now we are two, love always makes one. My child, you are all life, all heart, all sun. I will always be with you till living is done. And when this time is over, we shall pass on, close tight to my mother and her mother and on. We sing for all women whose rights have been wronged. We sing against silence. We are the song.
Hoping, dreaming, basically feeling water, my flowers, dust webs from the ceiling. Ache till I sleep, I can't think, I feel weak. Paint a frown for something to do. I am told I'm getting old, I'm lazy, crazy, broody for babies. I hate being a cynic, there's no love in it. I wish I was happy for you. I am just quietly patient, entirely vacant. You can see all of my flaws. The man at the top sucks the potent out of all my pores. But all this time, we all been fine. All this wrap shit in plastic, we killing the planet. Fallen Eden, God's breeding heathens. It's us that ain't fine. Mama has all the time in the world to turn it around. I am just lounging, the curtains look sad, so concerned for our mothers. But what about Dad? We carry like boulders, our parents on shoulders, carry the lost to the found. And all this time, we all been fine. All this time.
We wandered in the valley of fate's double crown, once enamoured by the calling of paths yet unfound. I saw a crooked line of teeth stripped of its fox one day that a dog had run down. The daylight's charity gave it pearlescence, lying on a scalp forest ground. Faith ordained that beauty, the white behind bone, and I thought of the paleness between your hair and other things well known. I tasked myself to your parting. Life had blessed me to fling my hands in its virginity. I piled blood on the roots and made an equinox lily. 2 silt-stained daughters roused November clay.
They found a
peroxide
cancer
prayer.
inside.
My palms are
a lock
placenta in
of
water.
her mother's hair in her womb, and some teeth. Those eyes, you should have seen her. Beautiful, she was. All full of God and the Holy Grail and the things that these men and their myths have spoken about. The women too. But the men had to write it all down because the women were charred from the soot. The soot. Sitting in the rubble, holding a newborn up into the empty sky for something, so it wouldn't be for nothing. This has to be for something.
Let us dance, a dance of gesture, signaling where to go. Lay your head in the sand, under warm sand they will follow. Don't be naive. Quick to perceive the way things are.
Then opens herself. I pull myself further from the physical until these heads are all I can see, like ants. I see her. She grins. Bashful, clasping the weight of us between her teeth, carnations and rotting things, and hope that I will not continue her legacy. Between laced arms, a Cambridge diet of black coffee and boiled cabbage, unsavoured, undigested. We teeter on the edge of now and has been. Her beam once teemed with contentment, now I see void. A life vicariously led. She smiled through us. She wished to be dangerous, to live untamed, amongst grass and barefoot, with wild-eyed women who knew the moon's truths and howled with the wolves, but her mother never let her. Preaching tales of bad intentions, misled truths, and spinsters unwed. Her face turns. She cries. Cries for the girl that she lost, the girl that we never were. We mourners hang our heads. The world ahead of you, that's what they said. And although we lost you on October 15th, the day you died, you were already dead.
sometimes in one's nature to dislike another. I, on the other hand, suspect that this is a myth. There is a cat parade at the bar I work at in Thailand. His name is Down Down, which translates to black. He was diffident, yet somewhat bewitching.